Virginia High School Bearcat football will be on the air in 5 minutes. Minutes until tonight's coverage of Bearcat football. Minutes until airtime. Seconds from Bearcat football. Seconds to go. "15 seconds. All right, you guys have fun on the call. Go Cats.
You're listening to Virginia High Bearcat football on Spreaker Radio.
Middle and he's in. Touchdown. Falling in. Jamie Lathrop. What a juke move at bye-bye as he made it into the end zone.
What a play.
The touchdown Bearcats. Touchdown. Wow. Virginia High. Talk about electricity. He's into the end zone. Touchdown.
Big number 10.
Lathrop looking deep down the field. He's got a man. That's Carroll. Makes the catch at the 5, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown Cats. Lathrop dropping straight back, looking down to Carroll, and he's got him. Over-the-shoulder catch. Touchdown Cats. The Cats hold off 3A Abingdon 20-19.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening and welcome to Bristol, Virginia, where in half an hour the Virginia High Bearcats will play host to the John Battle Trojans in the battle for Bristol, Virginia. For the first time in 2018, the orange and black clad Cats will come out of their tunnel in the north end zone to be welcomed by a raucous home crowd as they will look to will the Bearcats to their first 2-0 start, or to a 2-0 start to the 2018 season. I'm Dylan Hutton alongside Travis DeBus with our sideline reporter Ryan Bradley, as well as our statistician Kevin Corbett over here in the booth inside the confines of Gene Malcolm Stadium, ready to bring you the action for Week 2 on Bearcat Radio. They say home is where the heart is. Well, I'm not sure about that, but I do know that when the Cats meet the Trojans here at the Gene, the team in orange has won 19 of the last 23 meetings. This game kicks off a pivotal 2 games on the docket for the Bearcats. A Virginia side rivalry tonight with a trip to over the state line for the annual VT game looming next week. This game is just as important for fresh-faced John Battle, who after a tough outing against Abingdon will try to begin a stretch of 3 straight road games with a victory. This 57th meeting between the Bearcats and the Trojans will not only determine the top football program in Bristol, Virginia, but it will also give way to a year's worth of bragging rights for the victor, as well as propel momentum as they push further into the young season. As we welcome you to Countdown to Kickoff, brought to you by Sesco Group Insurance. Travis, as we begin the coverage of the 57th chapter of this John Battle Virginia High gridiron story, what are you most looking forward to seeing tonight?
Well, the first thing I want to see, Dylan, I want to see how the Cats respond after last week's game. You know, over the long off season, you could have not scripted a better first quarter to open up the 2018 schedule than what we had last Thursday night at Tazewell. Opening kickoff, returned the opening kickoff back for a touchdown to go up on a big 7-0 lead. In that first quarter, Virginia High just clicking awesomely on both sides of the ball. That diminished quickly. After jumping out to a 30-7 lead on the Bulldogs, Tazewell outscored Virginia High 23-7 the rest of the way. I'm wanting to see how the coaches handled it. I want to see how the players responded to any changes that have been made. But here's the thing I'm most excited about tonight. My first Friday night on the mic with the orange and black here in the Gene.
It's going to be a fun night for sure, and we're definitely excited to get things kicked off as the orange and black are out on the field getting warmed up.
And we want to take an opportunity to thank our game sponsor once again. Mention them, Sesco Group Insurance, for all of your auto, home, life, and commercial insurance needs. Call Bearcat alum Jason Stevens at 276-644-9130, offering the right policy with great rates. Sesco Group Insurance.
And as we open up our coverage for tonight's broadcast, we're going to do our 3 takeaways from the last game, which was, of course, a 37-30 victory for the Bearcats in Week 1 over Tazewell. And let's go to Travis for those 3 takeaways from the victory last week.
Well, the first takeaway I got, and you and I talked about this a lot during our lead-up to 2018. You and I went back and looked at some of the trends of last year's team, watched a little bit of film of the 2017 Bearcat squad, and one thing that really stood out is the offense always seemed to be boom or bust. We were either all in or the offense really sputtered. And last week, that still held true. Another thing we take away from last week, 11 penalties against Virginia High. You know, at first look, 11 penalties doesn't seem like an outlandish number. I mean, I'm sure, however, Coach Christ would definitely disagree. But those 11 penalties almost all seemed to come at the worst possible times. And that just really kept giving Tazewell back momentum that they needed to get back into that game and helped them to keep it close. We also learned last week, another takeaway from that game, is special teams really are special. Colton Ratcliffe had a punt I'm sure we would all like to forget in the third quarter last week that set Tazewell up on the plus side of the field. But when Virginia High was forced to punt deep in their own end with the clock approaching 3 minutes left in the ballgame, he connected on a boomer, about a 60-yarder that completely flipped the field and helped the Bearcats hold on to win the ballgame. That punt late could really be considered one of the top 3 plays of that game. If you don't pin Tazewell deep there, the way they were moving the ball late, they could have punched it in for the score. Special teams, we did have one blocked extra point last week, but we also had the kickoff return for the touchdown. So all in all, a really good performance by the special teams last Thursday night.
And what a week it was, an exciting game. And you said whenever we had our meeting for the broadcast that if every game the Cats could win it like that, it would be an impressive season for broadcast as the Cardiac Cats came back again last week. We thought it was only happening during basketball season, but it has traveled over to football. Tonight's coverage of Virginia High football on Bearcat Radio is brought to you by Sesco Group Insurance. For your insurance needs, go with Sesco. State Line Motors on Euclid Avenue in Bristol. Then State Farm Insurance Agent Barbara Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. BSN Sports, the nation's largest sporting goods distributor, and Drake's Come Play, as well as Moe's Southwest Grill. And we had a special interview with Coach Christ before tonight's broadcast. As we caught up with Coach Christ, Ryan Bradley had the honor of doing the interview pregame for our Countdown to Kickoff show. So let's go inside the huddle to Ryan Bradley's interview with Coach Mike Christ, and we'll be back for more after this.
Welcome to Inside the Huddle. This is Ryan Bradley with Bearcat head coach Michael Christ. First off, Coach, congrats on the 37-30 victory last week.
Thanks. It was one of those deals where we got off, and I said this to the kids. We played 47 of the first 49 plays, as flawless as we've ever played here, and then we held on for another 100. So, obviously finishing was a point of emphasis, and just doing the things that it takes to finish off a team, point of emphasis for this week.
What are some of the takeaways from last week's game against Tazewell?
I think more than anything, just finding some depth. Realize we got to play some more guys, play them earlier, so that when we get in that third and fourth quarter grind, we got a little more juice. So it's one of those things, you make, as Coach Beamer used to say, you make the most improvements from game 1 to game 2. So I felt like, that was a point of emphasis for coaches. Hey, we got to play some guys earlier, so we got more juice in the second half.
Were you able to address anything on film?
We did. Made a lot of corrections. More than anything, I think we just got into a situation where our eye discipline lacks defensively, and I think we ran out of gas as much as anything, especially offensively. Just couldn't finish drives. So we missed Stevie, but we'll be down a man again tonight. So we gotta just all step up and continue on.
The offense was clicking early in week 1, totaling 295 yards in the first half, but just 66 in the second. What do you think caused the slowdown?
Ran out of gas. I think that was part of it. And then, sometimes you get in that situation where you say, hey, we think if we can just milk some clock and get out of here, we got a chance to win. So at some point your play calling goes from productivity to what's going to help us win. And that was kind of it. We ran the ball, obviously, a lot in the second half. We were getting big chunks, but we kind of stall out in some third downs. Then we had a fumbled snap over the head. That killed us. So we were just kind of always scratching and clawing. But as much as anything, I think the difference in yardage was just the fact that we ran out of gas and we needed to essentially call something to put us in position to win in the end.
You all had a couple of big special teams plays in week 1. The 85-yard touchdown on the opening kickoff by Austin Davidson and the clutch 60-yard punt by Colton Ratcliffe in the fourth. How much do you stress special teams?
Huge point of emphasis. Obviously we only, I think we're dressing with two guy or one guy sitting out. I think we're only dressing 31 tonight or something like that. So we're all going to play special teams. It's not a matter of getting a blow on special teams.